Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are about to start the proceedings of the inaugural function. May I request everyone to settle down and kindly put your electronic devices on silent mode. Thank you. A very good morning to all of you. It's an honor to be standing here today on behalf of IIM Visakhapatnam fraternity to extend a warm welcome to everyone present for this inaugural function of the 11th batch of postgraduate program in management MBA and the 7th batch of the PhD program. First things first, congratulations and a hearty welcome to the students of PGP batch 2025-27 and PhD batch 2025. You are the reason we have gathered here today to celebrate the beginning of your learning journey. I welcome our chief guest, Professor G. Raghuram, member of the Board of Governors, IIM Visakhapatnam, and formerly Professor and Dean IIM Ahmedabad, and also Director IIM Bangalore. Welcome, sir. I also extend a welcome to our Director, Professor M. Chandrasekhar, Dean Academics, Professor Vijay Bhaskar Marisetti, PGP chairperson, Professor Shiv Shankar Singh Patel, PhD chairperson, Professor Amit Shankar, and Dean Administration, Professor Kaveri Krishnan, as well to this ceremony. Welcome, sirs. Welcome, ma'am. I also extend a very warm welcome to my faculty and staff colleagues, parents, second-year students, and friends from media. Light has long been a symbol of knowledge, wisdom, and hope. As we embark on this occasion, may the illumination of this lamp dispel the darkness of ignorance and guide us towards greater understanding, growth, and prosperity. I now invite the esteemed dignitaries on the dais to formally inaugurate today's program by lighting the ceremonial lamp. It is a great honor to stand before you as a chairperson of admissions and to celebrate this momentous occasion with you all. Today marks the beginning of a transformative journey for each one of you, and we are excited to witness the impact you will undoubtedly make in the world of business and beyond. Let me take this opportunity to present the batch profile of the PhD and PGP program. Our new cohort is truly exceptional, and it is my pleasure to share a brief profile of our students, showcasing the diversity, talent, and experience that each of you brings to this program. This year's admissions process was highly competitive and structured to identify well-rounded candidates. It began with evaluating CAT 2024 scores of those who selected IIM Visakhapatnam, followed by a detailed shortlisting process based on the academic performance, work experience, and diversity criteria. Candidates were also assessed through a personal interview. A final composite score incorporating all these individual components was used to select the most promising individuals. As a result, we are proud to welcome a cohort of 338 students, diverse in background, experience, and aspirations. I'm especially delighted to share a significant milestone in our journey towards greater inclusivity. For the very first time, our PGP program has achieved a 50% representation of women in the incoming cohort. This marks a historic achievement for us and reflects our unwavering commitment to promoting gender diversity in management education. The equal presence of women in this classroom will undoubtedly enrich peer learning, bring in diverse leadership perspectives, and contribute to a more balanced and dynamic learning environment. This progress is not just a number, it represents the evolving fabric of business leadership and our dedication to nurturing talent from all sections of society. We are also proud to share that this year, our PGP cohort includes students from over 26 states across India, a notable increase from over 21 states last year. From a geographical perspective, this is a significant leap, highlighting the Institute's growing reach and appeal across the country. This wide representation brings together a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and experiences, creating a truly inclusive and vibrant learning environment that mirrors the diversity of our nation. Education is another area where this cohort stands out. Our students come with strong academic credentials from some of the country's most prestigious institutes and universities. While engineering continues to be a dominant background this year, we see a more balanced academic mix. Engineering graduates now make up 59% of the cohort, a welcome shift from 64% last year. Alongside engineering, we have significant representation from fields such as sciences, commerce, and management. This academic diversity, coupled with the presence of experienced candidates, creates the perfect foundation for rich classroom discussions, cross-disciplinary insights, and collaborative problem solving. Our PGP students also come with an average work experience of close to 19 months of professional experience. Your collective experience spans a wide range of industries, IT, banking, manufacturing, etc. This wealth of experience not only enriches our program, but also creates a dynamic learning environment where you can learn as much from each other as from the curriculum. As you embark on this journey, remember that the PGP program is not just about acquiring knowledge, it is about transforming yourself and your career. You will be challenged to think critically, to collaborate effectively, and to lead with integrity. The relationships you build here will become a vital part of your professional network, and the experiences you share will shape your future in profound ways. Let me now turn to the incoming cohort of the PhD program. The admission process for the PhD program also followed a rigorous three-phase structure. In the first phase, candidates submitted an online application with academic and professional details and valid scores such as CAT, GMAT, GRE, etc. In the second phase, eligible applicants were evaluated on academic performance, test scores, and research potential to shortlist candidates for the interview. In the final phase, composite scores were calculated by combining past academics, test performance, research potential, and interview evaluation, based on which admission offers were made. Over the years, our PhD program has grown steadily, both in scale and strength. I am pleased to share that the incoming batch this year comprises 11 research scholars, making a healthy expansion of our doctoral community. The cohort reflects strong gender diversity, along with representation from 8 states, highlighting its geographical spread. Academically, the group brings a well-rounded mix of educational backgrounds across both graduation and post-graduation levels. On average, students come to close with 2 years of work experience, offering a balance of academic curiosity and real-world exposure. This diversity in profile sets the stage for a vibrant and enriching research environment at IIM Visakhapatnam. As you embark on this doctoral journey, remember that the PhD program is not just about conducting research, it is about shaping yourself as a scholar, a thinker, and a contributor to the world of knowledge. You will be encouraged to question deeply, to explore fearlessly, and to pursue academic rigor with integrity and purpose. The mentorship you receive, the collaborations you form, and the intellectual challenges you embrace will play a defining role in your scholarly identity. This journey will not only sharpen your research acumen, but also prepare you to influence thought, policy, and practice in meaningful ways. In closing, I would like to congratulate each one of you for making the right decision to invest in your future through this program. Your presence here today is a testament to your dedication and ambition. We, the faculty and staff, are committed to supporting you every step of the way. Together, we will embark on a journey of growth, learning, and achievement. Professor Shiv Shankar Singh Patel, with great pride and confidence, I now entrust to you the vibrant minds of the PGP class of 2025-27, future leaders who will carry the torch of excellence forward. Professor Amit Shankar, I have the honor of entrusting in your guidance the inquisitive and determined scholars of our PhD program, custodians of knowledge who will shape the future of research and academia. With this, I invite Professor Shiv Shankar Singh Patel, chairperson PGP program, for his address.
Honorable Chief Guest, Professor G. Raghuramji, Member of the Board of Governors, I am Visakhapatnam. Respected Director, I am Visakhapatnam Professor M. Chandrasekharji, and my colleagues on dais and sitting in front of me, staff members and invited guests, dear students. On the behalf of all the faculties and all of you, let us thank Professor Prashant for carrying out a wonderful admission process, and I also personally thank him to finding this 350 unique gem for this PGP MBA program. So thank you so much for entrusting the student to us as a PGP office. It is indeed a great pleasure to welcome you. And in this PGP program, we often call this as a PGP flagship MBA. So I was thinking about what is the literal meaning of this flagship. Though we know that it is something which is drawn from the ship only. But when I went in deeper inside, I found that this flagship, it means the naval fleet. It is led by a ship which is heavily armored and having a distinguishable flag, and the commanding officer will be above the rear admiral. It means what? It means all of you are nothing but going to be a commanding officer who are going to carry the flag of this I am Visakhapatnam wherever you're going to go. So yes, definitely there is a sense of joy, there is a sense of success, but it's a sense of responsibility that you are actually carrying with you when you're embarking into this program. So I definitely congratulate you that you are getting into this program and you are being a part of bright minds and committed and distinguished faculty, a growing network of these alum who are actually working in diverse fields across countries and globe and keeping this flag high. I also thought about when we say you are 11th batch of PGP, I thought like, let us make this batch as a special batch. You are carrying a number 11 with you. Now there's a 10 cycle is completed. We have completed 10 years and you are the 11th batch. It means something there is transcendence and also awakening. So when you just see some of those, the reference in the Indian tradition or Vedic or any religion per se, Islam or Buddhism, 11 has an importance there. It talks about, some kind of a transformation, whether you refer to 11 Rudras of Lord Shiva, which is the manifestation, and talking about what you are actually using power, strength, everything for awakening. So bridge between your, the inner strength, elevation, and impact. So when we are going through these 2 years of rigorous program, you're actually transforming yourself, what our Professor Prashant also talked about, this transforming journey. Now let us talk about this program particularly. So you feel special about yourself that you are the batch who are going to, make change and everything out there. But in this program, it is essentially a 2 years residential program. Means you're living and learning. And this state-of-the-art infrastructure which is brought to you, it is designed for transformation. So when you see each corner, you have majorly 3 pillars. One where you see this learning resource center, which is we call often library. And that is not just a collection of books. That is a place for solitude. That is a place where you go deeper inside, whether it is a data or knowledge, or you go with yourself as a group and study rooms, where one important aspect there, which is important for your transformation. Another side, if you go to the corner of this, you will find sports facility and gym. It's not just a recreation for you. It's also a learning place where you test your endurance, you find your teamwork learning, and you compete with each other, not with jealousy or a hatredness. You actually compete to take best out of the others, and you also take best of yourself. So it means like you're collectively reaching for the excellence also, the teamwork and network and all that. And third important pillar in this residential program is classroom and hostels, where it is a pure engine in this PGP program, where you bring your analytical, sharp mind, challenging question to the faculties, and the faculties are also bringing insight. You make your friends in hostels for life, you network, and long discussion at the cafeteria. So that's how these three important pillars. You will realize when you graduate, you should not remorse that, no, I could not take best out of that. Keep that in mind that, no, I should actually spend most of my time to utilize these resources when this is a residential program here. In this 2 years program, you'll also go through the foundation of the management. Foundation means the functional aspect of marketing, finance, operations management, human resource, organizational behavior, and some core courses on decision sciences, economics and information systems and communication. But you will also be taught with some specific courses where the world is transforming towards the sustainability, digital transformation, data-driven decision making, so that you are not only thinking from solving a problem, but you're actually moving and you're preparing yourself a leader in this complex and dynamic world. You know what is happening on the business world or in the geopolitical scenario. So we are keeping you up as a leader. So let's get away from that whole mindset of ROI. This is a long haul transformation. Okay, the people, those who are sitting on dais, they are the stalwart. They did not think about those ROI setup, right? So you have to think about that transformation, which is nothing but making you a leader. And on philosophical note, I leave you. I thought, like, can I get one word? I thought, like, for a PGP 11th batch, the word should be grit. The grit that is coming from one side, the element of water that flows as a river, continuously as a learning process. When the river meets to the stone, there is a grit. So either river transform that stone, the rock as a pebble, as a beautiful stone, or stone nothing but puts a grit so that the river changes the direction. So I, as a faculty, and you as a student, will be having this duality. One side, well, I'll play as a river and you play as a rock. So rock is nothing but changing my, you can say, the faculty teaching ability and evolving that. On the other hand, you will be transforming yourself to be a beautiful stone. So the grit should be there, whether it is a classroom, whether it's a sports ground, or anywhere you need to show that grit. And I'll just leave that with the 11th batch is a grit batch, PGP, right? So once again, congratulations and welcome to PGP program in this transforming journey and an impactful experience. I'm Visakhapatnam. Wish you all the best and God bless you.
Thank you, Professor, for your encouraging words to the students. I now invite Professor Amit Shankar, chairperson PhD, for his address.
Respected Raghuram sir, director sir, dignitary on dais, faculty members, staffs, and dear students. On behalf of IIM Visakhapatnam, I welcome you all for this inaugural ceremony. As I am talking on behalf of PhD program, but I will address PGP student also in some of the sense. As Professor Sip talks about number, I will start with numbers. This is our 7th batch, and 7th is very favorite for football player, if you are the fan of Ronaldo. It's very favorite for the cricket also, if you are the Thala fan. So because of these reasons and these two sports, this is our 7th batch and 7th people sitting on the dais, 7 people sitting on dais, welcoming our 7th batch of PhD cohort, where incidentally there are 11 people, which is signifying and symbolizing the batch of PGP. So 11 people in the 7th batch of PhD, I am welcoming you all on behalf of IIM Visakhapatnam. Generally on inaugural occasion, I used to talk the achievement of the PhD that last batches has achieved. So today I will talk about 7 achievements of previous students of IIM Visakhapatnam in PhD cohort. Our 80% of the scholars who passed out get the job or offer in the IIM system. So that is the first achievement that our PhD scholars get. Second achievement of our PhD scholars, the total number of publications we are having with the PhD scholars 41, in which 3 is A-star publication and 21 is A category publication as ABDC. Third achievement of our existing PhD scholar, that they won 11 best paper awards in different conferences, which is huge. They also won, this is the fourth achievement, 8 research and travel grants to attend some of the conferences or attend some of the institute to do some of the research work. Our scholars attended, fifth achievement, after the scholars attended 31 international conferences and 22 national conferences during their stint, which is again huge. We are one of the IIMs without reducing the rigor of the coursework and only including most of the PhD courses. We reduce our coursework to 1 year, so students can focus on their research work from year 2 only. And the last but not least, we are the only IIM in India which talk about social inclusion and financial inclusion. We are having 2 scholars working under Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Chair Professor Vijay Bhaskar Marisetti. So these are the 7 achievements we are having. Hope when we will welcome 8th batch, you will add some more achievement into it, and I will be able to tell that. Always there is a debate going on when we are welcoming our student, that our students are product or our students are consumer. These are the 2 school of thoughts. Some people are saying our students are product. Some school of thoughts are saying our students are consumer. I think at IIM Visakhapatnam, we think that our student neither consumer nor product. You are the member of IIM Visakhapatnam family. So it's our obligation to nurture you and your obligation to make feel us proud. So welcome to the family of IIM Visakhapatnam in form of PhD and PGP. We'll try our best to nurture you, and it's your job and responsibility to make us pride. With this, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan, Jai Vigyan, Jai Anusandhan. Thank you very much and welcome again.
Thank you, Professor, for your encouraging words to the students. I now invite Dean Academics, Professor Vijay Bhaskar Marisetti, for his address.
Good morning, esteemed Chief Guest, Professor Raghuram, respected colleagues, staff, dear students and parents. As Dean Academics at IIM Visakhapatnam, it is both an honor and a responsibility to welcome you to this momentous occasion, the formal inauguration of the 11th PGP and 7th PhD cohorts. We are delighted to have you as part of the IIM Visakhapatnam academic family, an institution built not just on academic excellence, but on purpose, driven learning, inclusivity, and service to society. Our academic programs are thoughtfully designed to reflect the need of dynamic India and rapidly transforming world. In a landscape shaped by climate risk, geopolitical risk, digital acceleration, social complexity, and ethical ambiguity, the role of business education must go beyond the transfer of managerial knowledge. We aim to nurture leaders who are intellectually agile, ethically sound, and socially conscious. Leaders who are not only ready for industry, but ready for the world. At the heart of our institutional culture lies our guiding motto, Vidyam Param Daivatam. Knowledge is supreme divinity. You see that everywhere in the campus. This is not a decorative slogan, it is our moral compass and pedagogical anchor. It reminds us that knowledge must be pursued with sincerity and humility, and shared with generosity and applied with integrity. It is through such knowledge we transcend self-interest and create value for communities, for enterprises, and for the nation. Let this be the lens which you engage in your learning here, not only to gain information, but to cultivate wisdom. For the PGP students, you're embarking on a rigorous academic journey here, one that is demanding but deeply rewarding as well. At IIM Visakhapatnam, we do not merely teach management. We challenge you to engage with real-world problems, question established notions, and propose contextually relevant solutions. You'll be trained in the science of management and art of responsible decision-making. Through case-based discussions, entrepreneurial thinking, experiential learning, and interdisciplinary projects, you'll develop not just competence, but also character. Let your time here be marked not only by high performance, but also by deep purpose. To our PhD scholars, you're entering the frontier of knowledge. As scholar, your pursuit is not just of answers alone, but of better questions. You carry the responsibility of shaping thought, informing policy, and contributing to the global conversation on management and public values. At IIM Visakhapatnam, we hold research at the highest standards of rigor and relevance. We expect your work to not only meet global academic expectations, but also to respond to India's unique developmental challenges. You're not just building careers, you're building insight, influence, and impact. Friends, we are at a defining juncture. India is transitioning towards becoming a $5 trillion economy, a global hub for innovation, and a leader in digital public infrastructure. Technologies like AI, blockchain, and climate fintech are rewriting the grammar of business. At the same time, inclusive growth, sustainability, and ethics are moving from the periphery of management to the core of enterprise strategy. In such a world, the boundary between the classroom and the boardroom is rapidly dissolving. Our academic model reflects this evolution: immersive, interdisciplinary, and impact-oriented. India's economic journey is not just about scale, but also about complexity. Leading in such an environment requires empathy, adaptability, and systems thinking. Whether you aspire to be an entrepreneur, a policymaker, a researcher, or a corporate leader, your success will depend on your ability to understand diverse realities and synthesize across many domains. Our role is to prepare you not just for employment, but for relevance, not just for jobs, but for judgment. You'll be mentored by outstanding faculty at IIM Visakhapatnam. You'll be part of a great campus ecosystem that encourages curiosity, experimentation, and also resilience. Let Vidyam Param Daivatam not remain confined to the walls of this campus. Let it guide your academic rigor, professional choices, and personal ethics. In a world defined by algorithms and automation, your greatest strength is not about intelligence, but more about wisdom. We are privileged that you have chosen IIM Visakhapatnam to be your partner in this formative phase. May your journey be intellectually stimulating, emotionally enriching, and socially meaningful. Once again, welcome to the family. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor, for addressing the students. Dear friends, IIM Visakhapatnam is growing leaps and bounds under the able leadership of Professor M. Chandrasekhar. Professor Chandrasekhar is the director of IIM Visakhapatnam since March 2017. I now invite Professor Chandrasekhar for his welcome address and provide insights into the learning journey ahead for the students.
Thank you, Prashant. Respected Professor Raghuram, member of our Board of Governors and former director of IIM Bangalore, dear students and parents, my dear colleagues, let me begin by welcoming and congratulating the PGP and PhD students. Dear friends, you have come out with flying colors. You are now a part of one of the top performing IIMs. As you would know, for 3 years in a row, we are ahead of all new generation IIMs, and in the last round, ahead of one second generation IIM as well in the NIRF ranking. Dear friends, there are thousands of applicants who aspired to be here today, but couldn't make it through the tough selection process. You should therefore be rightly and rightfully be proud. So a pat on the back for your sweet success. I extend a special welcome to the parents and friends for the trust and confidence they have placed in our institute for building the capacities of their wards for a bright and brilliant future that lies ahead of them. At the outset, I must express, on behalf of all my colleagues and the entire institute, my sincere gratitude to Professor Raghuram, who has kindly consented to be here today to deliver the inaugural address. A decade ago, friends, when we came into being in 2015, the PGP was inaugurated. The postgraduate program was inaugurated by the director of IIM Bangalore, which was our mentor institute then. In this 10th year of our establishment, it is befitting and our good fortune that this PGP and PhD Inaugural is taking place at the hands of Professor Raghuram, who was the director of IIM Bangalore. We continue to be the beneficiaries of his wisdom and wise counsel. Some of the strengths, in fact, many of the strengths of IIM Visakhapatnam have been highlighted by my colleagues who spoke prior to me. But let me also highlight, because for the sake of completeness, our strengths, as my colleagues pointed out, are our intellectual resources. What do I mean by that? We have 45 faculty members from top-notch institutions of this country who are serving as, who chose IIM Visakhapatnam as a place to teach and enhance knowledge and learning. And we are increasing the faculty strength by a count of 10 every year. Our faculty bring very impressive academic and research credentials to the table, and they represent about 21-22 states, which exemplifies how we celebrate diversity and shared values here. They represent, so this institute truly represents the national character. Friends, it is said that no man can be a good teacher unless he has feelings of warm affection towards his pupils and a genuine desire to impart to them what he considers to be of value. He can also mean she, it can be a teacher, male or female. It is also said that more important than curriculum is the question of the methods of teaching and the spirit in which learning is imparted. Our faculty epitomize these sayings eminently. They foster a close connect between what is needed and what is taught and adopt pedagogies that prepare students for how to think rather than what to think. We are a preferred knowledge hub for education and entrepreneurship, and a much sought after learning destination for young and aspiring managers like all of you, as well as for senior practicing professionals from the public and private sector industries. Just to illustrate, in the last year alone, we conducted 108 executive education programs, trained 5,000 senior leadership position personnel and delivered 3 lakh participant hours of learning to them. So that is how I said we are a preferred destination both by the young and the experienced. Coming to our infrastructure, as my colleagues have said, we have the best in class infrastructure here. We are very proud of our Griha 5-star rated 241-acre green, digitally enabled and state-of-art campus. It is very conducive to very impactful learning outcomes. We have unmatched sports and games facilities, a very vibrant incubation center, and top-class healthcare facilities for your continued wellness. Coming to institutional processes, we have over past 10 years, we have fine-tuned our institutional processes. For example, there is a handbook of rules and guidelines that I would like to urge the students and parents, to treat it as a holy book and follow it religiously. This institute places very high premium on good and ethical conduct, and thus discipline is of prime importance to us, and it will be enforced with a single purpose of promoting growth and good character, welfare and well-being of the students. As we are all well aware, in life, conduct is valued equally, if not more than competence, and rightly so. Therefore, we consider in this institute the ABC, the attitude, behavior, and conduct, as extremely important. The fourth point that I would like to highlight, friends, is investing in future, investing in your future. Padma Vibhushan Dr. Raghunath Mashelkar, the eminent scientist and former Director General of CSIR, once said, institutions cannot build the future for the young because no one knows the future. But institutions can certainly build the young for the future. We can prepare you for the future. Our faculty and staff will invest heavily their time, effort, and energy into developing you into your growth and personality, professional growth and personality development, and will kind of try and do everything possible to enhance your intellectual, emotional, and social quotients. Shiv referred to, for example, the kind of learning you will have here. I would broadly categorize them into as system skills, soft skills, and social skills. System skills like precepts as well as practical knowledge of the tools and techniques needed for real-world problem solving. Soft skills, communication, collaboration, agility, and adaptability. Social skills like shared values, social responsibility, and being sensitive to the values of sustainability. Coming to our PhD student cohort here, friends, we have excellent research facilities and knowledge resources here, as the PhD chair mentioned. We have liberal schemes for research incentivization, liberal policies that offer ample encouragement for serious researchers, and as he said, our PhD graduates have received several offers readily from multiple IIMs. So a very bright future kind of awaits all of you. Let me come to the city of Visakhapatnam per se that you chose to be a part of. Visakhapatnam is called very famously as the city of destiny. It has a beautiful beach on one side and majestic eastern ghats on the other. The sea represents the dynamism, challenge, and adventure, the mountains symbolizing stability, tradition, and values. This city is very well connected from all the parts of the country. We have a clean and green campus, as I mentioned to you. Visakhapatnam and IIM Visakhapatnam are very cosmopolitan in nature. This vibrant city is, offers an environment which is completely safe and secure. And if you are connoisseurs of food, there are, you can have experiences of cuisines of a great variety and richness, the spices testing your taste buds both literally and figuratively. And if you are interested in history, heritage, or holy shrines, you won't certainly be disappointed. Well, friends, our job here, as Vijay and others have pointed out, I would like to quote renowned professor of organizational behavior from INSEAD, France, Professor Jennifer Petriglieri, who said that the job of good business schools is to contribute to the professionalization of management for the good of the society. Our job here is to do that precisely. The program will be rigor in terms of depth and width. It will be contemporary in content. It will be current with the context, and with the ultimate aim that it will broaden your horizon and worldview. Your job, young friends, is to adjust to the demanding work schedule and study schedules, because it is only in dictionary that success comes before work. Make best use of the resources that you have here and the opportunities that this institute will present before you. Take active part in all the events and activities. And, a final piece of advice from my side. I used to have a professor at IIT Bombay, Professor D.B. Phatak, who would always say that unsolicited advice for unsuspecting souls. So I'm going to give you a little of that now. There is a book called So Good They Can't Ignore You, written by Calvin Newport, as he's called, Cal Newport, who is an MIT-educated professor professor of computer science in Georgetown University, Washington, D.C. And by the way, I'm no agent of Cal Newport. I'm just an admirer of his books. In this book, he describes So Good They Can't Ignore You. He highlights developing oneself with what he calls as career capital. He says if you are aspiring for a rare and valuable career, it's important for you to first acquire rare and valuable skill sets. And how do you do that? He gives a pathway. He says that, you have to have deliberate practice of about 10,000 hours to acquire something which is rare and valuable. And he talks about working in mission mode with a goal-oriented focus to be creative and impactful. He has also written, surrounded as we are with digital gadgets, he also has written 2 more books, which, if interested, you can browse through. One of the books says, it's called Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. The second book is called Digital Minimalism. And he speaks in these books about the importance of, developing in ourselves the cognitive capacities which will kind of spur us to creativity, critical thinking, and concentration. And how we could create for ourselves conditions for long-term success, both personal and for professional growth. He mentioned in these books, time is finite. Given, for example, you have 2 years, or PhD scholars have 5 years here. So we need to be productive every single day. And we need to sharpen our focus on whatever we do. So he gives 5 kind of pieces of advice. I'll just mention them. 1, he says, block most productive hours of your day for deep work, concentrated work. 2, when you are doing this, focus on doing one thing at a time so that, your concentration is very sharp on that activity. 3, he says, takes guilt-free breaks from technology. You must have what is called as JOMO replacing FOMO. The joy of missing out should replace the fear of missing out. You can keep the digital gadgets away for some time. Next one, he says, is build good habits. The final piece of advice that he gives is, say plainly no if you don't know. And that's the pathway to new learning. Finally, friends, I would like to say that it is popularly said, believe you can, and you are halfway there already. So go by that dictum. Finally, we in IIM, we stands for victory. May this journey, learning journey of yours be here, yours here be an engaging one, an enjoyable one, and an enriching one. And may you have a wonderful and memorable time at this institute. May you preserve, protect, and promote the prestige and popularity of this institute always. Godspeed. God bless you.
Thank you, sir, for your words of wisdom for the students. You never cease to inspire us, and I'm sure with you leading from the front, we are only going to grow higher and higher. Thank you once again. Ladies and gentlemen, it's now time for me to introduce our chief guest for the day, Professor G. Raghuram, member of the Board of Governors, IIM Visakhapatnam, and former professor and dean, IIM Ahmedabad, and also director, IIM Bangalore. Professor G. Raghuram is a distinguished academic and thought leader in the fields of infrastructure, transportation systems, logistics, and supply chain management. With a career spanning over 4 decades, he has made significant contributions to both academia and public policy in India and abroad. Professor Raghuram earned his B.Tech from IIT Madras in 1976, followed by a postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad in 1978. He later received his PhD in transportation systems from Northwestern University's Kellogg Graduate School of Management, USA in 1984. He has held several key academic and administrative positions during his illustrious career. Most notably, he served as the director of IIM Bangalore from 2017 to 2020, where he also held a faculty position at the Center for Public Policy. Prior to this, he was a professor in the Public Systems Group at IIM Ahmedabad and served as Dean Faculty from 2013 to 2015. He also held the position of Vice Chancellor of the Indian Maritime University, Chennai. Professor Raghuram's expertise in public systems is reflected in his extensive body of work, which includes over 200 executive education programs, numerous journal articles, case studies, and books. His publications have had a lasting impact on sectors such as railways, shipping, aviation, and port logistics. He has co-authored several influential books, including Trucking Business Management, Supply Chain Management for Competitive Advantage, and Infrastructure Development and Financing, Private-Public Partnership. His teaching has spanned doctoral, postgraduate, and executive education across multiple institutions worldwide. He has introduced and taught courses in logistics, infrastructure development, transport policy, operation strategy, and more. Professor Raghuram has also played an active role in policy development through his work with the Indian Railways and other government and industry bodies. He is a respected member of various company boards, including Adani Ports and Ganpati Carrying Corporation, and serves on committees focused on infrastructure and logistics reforms. Professor G. Raghuram's career exemplifies academic excellence, institutional leadership, and impactful engagement with industry and policy. His guidance continues to inspire students, professionals, and researchers across disciplines. We welcome you, sir, and I now request you to deliver the inaugural address.
Incoming students into IIM Visakhapatnam, both the PhD and the PGP, the parents, I guess they are in some other classes, faculty, staff, especially Professor Chandrasekhar, who invited me here, and it's a great honor. And listening to all that's been said, well, kind of overwhelming. I hope you are, I don't know how overwhelmed you feel, but anyway, so first of all, great that you have chosen to come to IIM Visakhapatnam. I've had the privilege of seeing IIM Visakhapatnam, from just a little baby to where it is now. And it's been an honor to actually be associated. Yeah, so first of all, I hope it's clear why we are here at IIM Visakhapatnam. I'm just going to, reinforce the motto that was already mentioned, right? I hope we are all familiar with the motto of IIM Visakhapatnam. Vidya Param Daivatam, right? It's from a Niti Shatakam of Bhartrhari. Yeah, but to that, I'm just going to add two more mottos that I am familiar with, and I think it's useful to reflect. So apart from the fact that we are here for that vidya, which is of course, param daivatam, when you go through these 2 years, I hope the motto, if you will, the Mentor Institute IIM Bangalore, which says, Tejasvi Navadhitamastu. And what we mean by that is let our learning be enlightening. So Tejasvi now avadhitamastu. Our learning here is between the faculty and the student. Let it be enlightening. So I think that's what we need to seek during the wonderful opportunity, 2 years, 5 years, that you will get in this, great institution. And of course, what should we do with this vidya? And there I go to the IIM Ahmedabad motto, which says, Vidya Viniyogat Vikasaha. I mean, vidya as an end in itself, is not what it is, but vidya viniyogat. I need to apply. I need to be able to apply the knowledge. So vidya viniyogat vikasaha. That's how growth and development happens. I mean, that's really where we make impact. So I think to me, that's something we can all, keep it as we go through this learning process. How do I make it more enlightening, and how do I get an application orientation of the knowledge that we will have an opportunity to gain. Of course, to me, so today when we describe the world, and more so, I mean, so far, even I sometimes used to be skeptical about a certain descriptor of the world. Some of you may be familiar with that acronym, we say VUCA world. The world is volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. Of course, I've always been skeptical, why are people trying to describe the world this way? I mean, maybe it's like, you want to describe something in some manner and then say, okay, I'm going to, somehow overcome that. But somehow this year, I've been feeling that maybe, some of these 4 descriptors, they are, somewhere coming alive. Significantly more so than maybe earlier, whatever they described. I mean, the fact that wars are just erupting, the fact that, of course, apart from the digital and, all that, there are these kind of elements. Being a person in transportation, just the unsafe incidents that have happened, aircrafts or helicopters, so I think it's useful for us to get a sense of what is this, and but we need to overcome, and I think that's what it's about. So how do we overcome? And I think to me, in that sense, the MBA, the management learning, in many ways is at the forefront of trying to overcome this. And I'm just going to simplify it, because to me, when there are so many things we talk about, what you're going to get or what you should do, the different subjects that you will go through. But I think a very central converging aspect of this, in a very simple way, is all about organization. So whether we study marketing, or strategy, or we study operations and supply chain, or we look at the the different resources that are required, finance or human resources or information technology, or they all kind of converge to creating and making organizations more effective, more efficient. So at the back of our mind, one can sort of keep this, that whatever we are going through, how does it help organize better? Because I think it's about organizing. Of course, organizing with right values. That is what is going to help us overcome, whatever this VUCA descriptor that we can have. Right? So I think, in many ways, management has really, the way the curriculum over years has been put together is to try to get us to appreciate this. Okay, so keep that at the back of our minds. Okay, now a very important element of being more effective in this organizational context is, I think, about teams. See, rarely at an individual level, whatever thoughts we may have, whatever energy we have to do things, but ultimately it is teams that bring in greater synergy, better outcomes. So to me, over these 2 years, there will be a great opportunity to work in teams. I mean, simple idea of group work. And as you do, not only in the core required courses, but many of your electives, there will be opportunities to do group work. Well, there will be opportunities to study in groups as you prepare for classes. So, learn to see how groups function. Now, in this context, diversity plays a critical role. So that's why it's very important that in an MBA program, everybody talks about diversity. I mean, it's not just gender diversity. It's great that we have a maybe more than balanced 51, 49% is what I saw. So it's wonderful. But there is diversity on many other dimensions. I'm sure there is linguistic diversity, cultural diversity, economic diversity amongst this group. Background diversity. So as you go through courses, some of us will be able to absorb faster than some others. And there again, the idea of teams are important. So, while of course we are in a competitive environment, but I think we also need to recognize that taking the group, taking others along is a very important aspect. And therefore, let us learn to help anybody who's a little slower at learning. Take them along. If somebody has an accounting background and you go through the accounting courses, or an engineering background in quant courses, I mean, you will see that there is a range in the learning ability, and I think we need to help. And so that's an important part when we go through team building, group work. Recognize diversity, recognize different perspectives that people may bring on to the same context. So, team building and the opportunity to use these 2 years as a laboratory, if you will, because ultimately it is teams that are going to make organizations more effective. Okay. At the same time, there is a focus on the individual, on the self. Focus was talked about, discipline. Use the time for reflection. And ultimately, if See, ultimately, it's good if we can discover something that we are passionate about. Not everybody is lucky that they already know, what they are passionate about, because it's a function of your upbringing, function of what experiences you have had, what you have been exposed to, what you have maybe dreamt about, what you have read about. A variety of inputs play a role in discovering passion. But the more we reflect and we are able to discover, because passion generates intrinsic energy, and then I don't, in fact, a good test about being passionate about doing something is you're not looking for anybody to say, great, you're moving ahead well. You do it because you intrinsically enjoy it. And I think the earlier we can get to that kind of a situation, the better it is for our life journey. Right? So I would hope, we can do that. Of course, passions can change. You could have an entrepreneur who or became an entrepreneur at age 50 in beauty products, or having worked in a financial firm for a long time, or you could have somebody who got into the standard sort of placement that one looks at, but somewhere niggling, saying, no, commentary, cricket commentary is my passion, and that's what I'm going to do. And then use cricket commentary and sports to also, do coaching and various other. So, I guess you know who I'm talking about. Yeah. So anyway, there are people who discover their passion at different stages in their life, in different dimensions, but you must give yourself the opportunity to be able to discover that. And I think the 2 years in many ways will also be a platform for that. Of course, that's where I want to see the word believe was used, believing. So, very often we say seeing is believing. Just turn it around. Actually, believing is seeing. When you can get to believe, then you start seeing, you can start visioning, right? So I think that's important. Okay, we got to stay curious. I mean, again, these 2 years are going to offer you an opportunity to keep questioning. Question one another. Question the faculty. Always, the why or the how. In fact, so be curious. In fact, go to the extent, short of affecting our mental health, go to the extent of being paranoid. I think it's important. Question all assumptions. Why do things happen the way they do? Why does the person behave the way they do? I mean, in your group work, you will find somebody sometimes disagreeable. Don't walk away. Try to understand what is making the person say what they said or do what they did. And I think that therein is the learning, and therein one builds a certain acceptance. So stay curious. And almost, it's good to be paranoid. Right? So these are some of the things that I think that the way the 2 years, the curriculum, and the learning process, the pedagogy that is put together will give you opportunities on these dimensions. Okay, I did say paranoid and I talked about mental health. And since there are also parents listening in, and partly reflecting on my own journey of being a faculty, being, whatever, dean, director, chair of the postgraduate program, I think over the years, and maybe the way the environment is, maybe the information overload that we have, I think mental health issues are on the rise. And we need to be able to recognize that and in fact be able to sense ourselves. And here I would in fact appeal to the parents who are listening in, I hope. So first of all, stay connected. Not only the friends that, first of all, make good friends, or build friendships here. Also stay connected with parents. I hope parents will stay connected with all of you. I think it's very important to share what you're going through. We need to be very sensitive about it. And I'm hoping also institutionally that there will be opportunities to, those who sense that maybe they could do with some help. And we should take help without feeling in any way less about it, because that is the nature of the world. So that part is extremely important. We don't want situations both at IIM Ahmedabad and IIM Bangalore, just in the recent past, where, extreme situations have occurred. There is no, that sort of a thing should just not be there. But why do we even want to go that far? I think, so being sensitive about one's mental makeup during the program is very important. And that's where, the way our Vedic literature also says, it actually gives highest priority to Matru Devo Bhava, Pitru Devo Bhava, and then only Guru Devo Bhava, right? So, the role of parents continues to be important, and you all need to draw that in. Okay, let me, since my own area of work has been on supply chains, or one of the areas of work, and so I'd like to look at this 2-year program in some sense as a supply chain. And good supply chains are supported by excellent infrastructure, physical and systems, processes. And you have already heard many of them say, of course, IIM Visakhapatnam, I think, thanks to our director and all the team supporting him, fantastic infrastructure has been developed here, and a lot of thought with the faculty in terms of, just taking you through the 2 years. So in many ways, one of the critical aspects of any supply chain, what supports a supply chain is already put in place. Now, unlike a product, somebody said we are not products here. Yeah, we are live. So as you go through this process, you've got to put your best foot forward and see in what way you can take maximum value from the supply chain. Yeah? That's in terms of the learning process. Well, I have in a more practical way, it's our own ability to do something where we are actually accountable to supply chains, where we think supply chains, where we feel supply chains. I would talk about the food supply chain. And to me, I would, in fact, charge you with the responsibility that when you go out to eat every meal, make sure you don't waste even a single sort of grain of rice, or I need to target 0 plate waste. You have the responsibility because you are going to be serving food yourself, or if you're in an environment where somebody is serving you, to be conscious, how much you can eat. Not because, there are poor people going hungry, these are some values that may have been told. No, because this is at the end of a very complex supply chain, right from growing the food to grading, sorting, transportation, processing, cooking, whatever it is that finally came to your plate. So I always say, today supply chain has become such a big area. There are also MBA in supply chain and whatever. But if somebody cannot practice zero plate waste, I don't think they have really learned supply chains. Otherwise. So you're going to do it for yourself, okay? Well, actually, Taittiriya Upanishad has a whole chapter on annam. And it begins by saying, annam na nindyat, that thou shalt not insult food. Anyway, so much on that important part. In fact, it in a way ties up with the values that IIM Visakhapatnam holds, right, in terms of sustainability. Well, we've talked about professionalism. So what is professionalism? Of course, we are all going to be trained to be professionals. Maybe some of us are already professionals in some earlier discipline. Where there's a body of knowledge, there is an expectation of behavior. But, talking of Harsha Bogle, who I had referred to earlier, he says, professionalism, one way is, while of course groups and teams, etc. are important, but can I build excellence in what I'm doing by myself, with nobody else around? Simple test. Whether it's a sport, do I do practice? Do I have enough in myself to do things without anybody saying great? That's also an important, measure that you are turning out to be a professional. You're doing something and you're pushing for excellence. So you should be able to also invest in study at your own time, if required by yourself. Okay. Of course, we're going to push for excellence. Equity, I already said, that's very important. I'm reading out the values of IIM Visakhapatnam. Sustainability, professionalism, excellence, equity. Right? So we help each other. And of course, it says academic freedom. Yeah. Dream. Use the intellectual input that you will get, but, envision more. Free thinking. Okay, so let me just tie up saying, I said, somewhere at least this year, the way things are going on in the world, there is the sense that this VUCA is appearing to be a little more real than my, earlier way of saying, no, it's all just, people trying to build something around it. But anyway, how do I overcome? I think there's an interesting way of using the same 4 letters. And I said that's where, believing is seeing or pushing for excellence. So the first V is about visioning. Yeah. So think long term. Vision. The U, understanding. Right? Ask questions, try to understand whatever is going on, all phenomena going around you to the best extent possible. Then sift out from that for the C, the clarity, and build a sense of agility. Yeah. Maybe that's the VUCA that's going to help us overcome, what otherwise is a characterization of the world. Okay, so with that, let me wish you all the best and welcome once again to IIM Visakhapatnam. And yeah, so see you.
Thank you, sir, for your enlightening address. I'm sure the students will remember your words for a long time and will follow your advice to gain the most out of this program. Friends, it's now time to acknowledge the academic excellence from the PGP batch 2024-26. I request Professor Shiv Shankar Singh Patel to announce the Merit Certificate awardees and Director's Merit List awardees. I request Chief Guest and Director to present the Merit Awards to the students.
Thank you, Professor Prashant. So first I'll announce about the merit certificate. So we have two parts. One is a merit certificate and another is a director's merit list. So for students who are ranked first on the basis of academic performance, that is term, grade, point, average, at the end of term 1, 2 and 3, receive a book grant of rupees 6,000 and a certificate of merit. The name of the awardees are Kapadne Chandan Jitendra, Term 1, Section A. Darshan Katwa, Term 1, Section B. Aryaki Patak, Term 1, Section C. Suri Prakash Chettiar, Term 1, Section B. Puru Kumar, Term 2, Section B. Puru Kumar. What? There are two? Okay, let me just take the roll number then. 2410146. Kapatne Chandan Jitendra, Term 2, Section A. Ariki Patak, Term 2, Section C. Aryan Keshri, Term 2, Section D. Samriddhi Mangrulkar, Term 3, Section A. Shivani Bandiwadekar, Term 3, Section B. Aryaki Pathak, Term 3, Section C. Aditya Raj Verma, Term 3, Section D. So now I will call for the name for Director's Merit List. The top 5% student in the batch on the basis of academic performance, cumulative grade point at the end of first year are included in this Director's Merit List. The eligible student receive a book grant of rupees 10,000 and a certificate of merit. The names are Kapatne Chandan Jitendra, Renuka Tulsian, Samriddhi Mangrulkar, Shivani Bandiwadekar, Darshan Katwa, Guru Kumar, Rohan Nigam, Vaibhav Dalal, Lakshmi Gayatri A, Ashwin Andy, Aryaki Pathak, Enos Cherian, Nikita Gupta, Harshpreet Kaur, Akansha, Surya Prakash Chettiar, Prerna Agrawal, Aryan Keshri. So thank you, Professor Raghuram and Director. Yeah, congratulations all the students. And keep it up.
Thank you, sirs, and congratulations to all the award recipients. Keep up the good work. I now request Professor Chandrasekhar to felicitate Professor G. Raghuram with a token of our love and appreciation for gracing the occasion. Thank you, sir. I would now request Professor Kaveri Krishnan to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you, Professor Prashant. Good morning, everyone. As we come to the close of this meaningful and inspiring inauguration ceremony, it is my honor and privilege to deliver the vote of thanks on behalf of the entire Indian Institute of Management, Visakhapatnam. Today marks a significant milestone as we welcome the 11th batch of our PGP program and the 7th batch of our PhD program. Each of you brings with you not only talent and ambition, but also the promise of leadership and innovation. We are confident that your journey here will be transformative, challenging, and deeply rewarding. We would like to extend our sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Professor Raghuram, for sharing such insightful thoughts that will undoubtedly resonate with our students as they begin this new chapter. Thank you so much, sir, for being here today. A special thanks to our director, all the faculty members and staff members whose unwavering commitment and guidance continue to shape IIMV into a center of excellence. To the incoming students, you are the heart of IIMV. We are excited to see the fresh perspectives, diverse idea, and energy that each of you brings to the classroom discussion. Remember the words of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Excellence is a continuous process and not an accident. Strive each day, not for perfection, but for progress, and excellence will surely follow. The path ahead will demand dedication, resilience, and intellectual curiosity. Embrace the challenges, collaborate with your peers, and stay true to the values that define great leaders. I also take this opportunity to thank the team from admissions, program office, project office, administration, and IT for meticulously planning and executing today's event. A special thank you to the student representatives from the Student Council and ADCOM who volunteered their time and energy. Your efforts ensured that everything proceeded smoothly and meaningfully. Finally, to the families and well-wishers of our students, thank you for your support and encouragement, which are vital to their success. With that, I once again welcome the new batches into the IAMV family. As we draw this ceremony to a close, I leave you with a simple wish. May your time at IAMV be filled with purpose, curiosity, and lasting memories. Thank you and best wishes to all.
With this, we conclude the inaugural ceremony. I now invite the dignitaries, my faculty and staff colleagues to join for a group photograph.
We stand here.
Dear all, please note that for parents and guardians who are attending the session from the classrooms, refreshment is arranged just outside the classrooms. For students, it is just outside in the foyer area. And for faculty and staff members, the refreshment is arranged on the dining hall on the second floor of the main building. Hope you have a nice time. Enjoy yourself.